Hello, I am Lady Yorkira, Duchess of Silver and your local villainess, but you can call me York. Today I'm going to be giving you my thoughts on Salvus Aries, which was released on Steam just last week, and it's been on my wishlist for a while, so I've been looking forward to playing. Two things to stipulate before we begin. This game is currently in early access, so there are a few things that are still missing from the game and will be added at a later time, or a few things that still need to be polished. Currently, I believe there's only one route to play through out of a possible 5. And secondly, I haven't fully played through what's available, so this is more of a first impressions video rather than a proper review of the full game. There may be one or two spoilers going forward, but I'll avoid major plot points aside from the intro to the game itself. With this in mind, let's begin. Salvus Aries was made by Rosemilk Studio and is an Otome game that starts with the heroine's bad ending. Congratulations, you're dead. Welcome to the afterlife. The game begins with you in jail, and yes, that is the proper way to spell it. You've been sentenced to receive the death penalty and your time is up. You've had your final meal, you're escorted to the executioner's block, and you meet your end. But instead of ending up in either heaven or hell post-death, you stay in purgatory for what must be an eternity, until you are woken up by 5 handsome reapers that tell you that you must become a reaper yourself and serve the rest of your sentence as one of them until you've paid your sins in full. With gaps in your memory, you will uncover your past and perhaps the secrets of these handsome reapers serving as your mentors. I think that the idea is very interesting. I love a dating sim with supernatural creatures, angels, demons, reapers, fairies. I love them, so this is right up my alley. Let's talk about the MC first. The MC in this game is not the self-insert kind, so she comes with a more unique design instead of the standard brown hair, no eyes that we sometimes get. I really like her design and I think she's very pretty, but that's because I love white hair and red eyes on a character. She also comes with a preset name, Ina, but you can change it. But I'm going to be completely honest. I like her design, but I don't like her. I wish I could say that she very much has her own personality, but unfortunately her personality feels inconsistent. Sometimes she's kind-hearted, bubbly, and she likes to joke around with the boys. She's naive, so much so that she thinks modern technology is sorcery and she is far too trusting. And she always acts like she wants to do the right thing, but then sometimes she acts vindictive and hypocritical almost. One example, she wants certain people to be punished for something, but starts having second thoughts the moment that she might have to be the ones to get her hands dirty and punish them herself, when the whole story starts because she was part of a rebellion and got executed for her crimes. So it doesn't really line up. She's impulsive and she has this strong sense of justice, and sometimes that can cloud her judgment and her ability to see the bigger picture, and it causes problems. I'm sorry, but I just do not like her, personally. I want to, but I don't. Now, onto the love interests. In this game there will be 5 romanceable characters, and their names are Balafar, Kame, Safan, Sayer, and Aureus. So far, Balafar is the only one that is playable to the fullest extent, but the rest should be released at a later date in the order that I listed them. I won't go into too much detail about their personalities because I think it's better when people get to know characters for themselves, but I can describe them with a few sentences for those who want to know. Although they are predictable in the way that you can look at them and guess what their personality is like, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. Balafar is the kind and mature one of the group. He's more of a natural leader type, though to be honest, it probably feels more like he's just a tired dad having to rein in the unruly children. Kame is another leader type who typically quells the chaos of the other characters and often takes charge. And while he has that cool, gentlemanly personality, you definitely don't want to get on his bad side. Zafan is definitely the most lively out of the bunch, and he's very laid back and the fun-loving type of character. He can take things seriously, but only when necessary. Sayre has a gentle, charming, and angelic personality. He's soft-spoken and kind-hearted, and he appears to be one of the more intelligent ones of the group. And finally, we have Aureas, who is the obligatory tsundere character. He likes to tease Aina a lot, and he's often rude to her, but it is obvious almost right away that he cares about her a lot, probably the most. The love interests feel distinctive in personality, and I don't feel like they're all the same person wearing different skins at least. When it comes to design, I won't say that I like all of the designs for the love interests, but I think some of them are nice. Zafan is one that I'm not particularly on board with. If you know me, you know that I have quite sensitive eyes, so his tattoo sleeves right next to the patterns on his clothing is a little too much for me to handle, and I don't know, he has the colour palette of raw meat. Definitely not my cup of tea. I like him as a character though. And I'd like to say I like Valifar's design, but he kind of reminds me of someone. I like Sayre's design a lot. I think he's very angelic and princely, and it matches his personality really well, or at least what I've seen of his personality so far. But Kame is my personal favourite out of the love interests. I love his design, and he has that kind of personality that is very formal, professional, gentlemanly, but he's scary when he's mad. I have a type, clearly. I also really like his voice. I think it suits him really well. Speaking of voices, the game will be fully voice acted as well, but right now there are only partial voice lines. The side characters and the MC also have voice lines, but you can turn them off in the settings if you really want to. And they're all individuals, so if you maybe think the MC is a bit louder than everyone else, you can turn her down a little and leave everyone else as they are, which is nice. I think the actors do an okay job with their lines for the most part. Some of it is a little bit rough, but that just could be because it's jarring to have 7 minutes of silence and then hear a sudden voice. Because the way you've been reading it in your head might not match the tone that the voice actor will be using, so it feels disjointed and wrong because you weren't expecting it to be said like that. But sometimes it does feel overacted, especially on Aina and Zafan's part. And you can tell that every voice actor is using a different microphone, especially when their lines are played side by side. You can definitely hear a quality difference. None of them are bad quality per se, but you can tell they're recording with different equipment. So hopefully that's something that can be polished up by the time the game is fully released. The other issue I have is that sometimes the characters say Aina in their lines, even though you've changed her name and it clearly says the name you've chosen in the text box. I am honestly hoping that they cut those out, because it's strange to be reading the name that you've chosen and then hearing the default name at the same time. It ruins the immersion. When it comes to the writing, I think it's pretty good in terms of the storyline. I like the premise a lot and the direction that the story is taking so far, and it has some interesting points, and there are a few emotionally weighty and more impactful moments which I really like in a game. But sometimes the pacing can feel off. And the comedy sometimes makes me cringe a little. I'm not going to pretend that hearing Bros Before Hoes in a visual novel doesn't make me shrivel up and eat my tail. From what I've seen so far, the world building isn't that bad either. It takes place hundreds of years after the execution, so we often see the MC being shocked, confused, and honestly afraid of modern technology. We get some insights on what the Reapers do and how they come into existence and how they live. Some of it can get a little confusing if you're not paying attention, as there's some time travel and paradox talk involved when it comes to the Reaper work, but personally it's not enough to deter me from playing and following along. But I can acknowledge that this can be a little heavy if you aren't fully invested. I have no real complaints about the art style. I think it's very attractive and that the characters are unique and well designed for the most part. The environments are a bit more generic, but I don't play for the environment, so I don't care. I do like the music in this game though. Overall, I think I'd give this game, based on my first impressions, a 6 out of 10. It's not the worst game I've played, by far. But there is definitely room for improvement, which I hope can be rectified, and that the full version of this game will be able to change my mind, because I really do want to like it. With the full version, I'll be able to see through the different routes how Aina might change, how the love interests might change, the voice acting will see improvement hopefully, and the story might improve. So I can't be too cynical, because so much can be different by the time that this is completely finished. So if you have played the early access version of Salvus Aries as well, let me know your opinions of it and whether you liked it or not. And if you haven't played it, don't let my review sway you too much. It has mostly positive reviews on Steam, so other people have played it and must be enjoying it. Don't be afraid to try it yourself if you think you would be interested in it. It's just not really for me as of right now. If you'd like to support your Duchess, then please consider leaving a like, a comment, or subscribing for more dating sim content. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in whatever I make next.